Welcome to slide number 13. Many parents have asked me this question. Why my child cannot learn to look at a time, ma'am? He's already 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. Recently I met a parent who said, my child is 18-year-old and cannot look at the clock and tell time. Time is an abstract concept. And to understand that, we need to use concrete tools. So, nowadays I have seen many parents buying the watch, gifting the watch to the child which has a digital watch. Now, what is the difference between a digital watch and an analog or digital clock or an analog clock? And why analog clock, according to my research, is the best to help the child to know time, quantity, measurement. When I say measurement, after 20 minutes, you have to go and take bath. So this is a measurement of time that, okay, what is 20 minutes? What is that quantity of 20 minutes? I have heard many parents tell me that, ma'am, I tell 20 minutes, but 2 hours also he doesn't move. He's not understood what is 20 minutes. And digital clocks don't help us to learn this. So what is the difference between an analog clock and a digital clock? Analog clock, as you can see in the slide, has hands which moves from one number to the other, which gives us the understanding of how the time shifts. So it's a cyclical process. So that's one thing the child understands. Analog clock provides visual representation of how time moves in a circular manner. And the analog clock helps in developing spatial reasoning skills. Please remember, spatial reasoning. Quantity, space, time. These are the concepts which is later on asked in word problems. And the slow learner child cannot handle word problem because these concepts have not got clear. So what's the best way to teach a child? Before I tell you that, how good is a digital clock for the child? Well, it tells you the exact time. So you don't have to, look at a clock and count and all that. Exact time, 11:17, that's it. Helps in practicing and memorizing numbers, sequence in hours. And it provides the understanding of AM, PM. That's all. But to teach any child, my experience, my research says one should use only analog clock. And that too, which clock? A clock which is not working. Get a clock or you have an old clock, remove the battery, remove the glass, and let the child touch the needle and move, rotate it. Start from hour. I don't need to teach you how to teach the clock, but it's important to use a analog clock which is not useful. It should have numbers, it should have hands. So I used to ask parents to come and donate these kind of clocks in my house. So every child owned a clock. Whenever we were teaching the clock, the time concept, every child had their own clock to play with. And that's how they would, keep on doing it with their hand. We would just play a game like, okay, 10:20. Everybody will make 10:20 and show. Whereas in our schools, what we do is we give them everything on paper and pen. I understand every child cannot have a clock in the class. But can we have a few clocks in the class to help our slow learner children? Can we give it to these kids and tell them to practice it on hand? And I think we can, because I have done it myself when I was a principal. When I realized that children cannot learn it just by using circles on the paper and asking them to mark time. Normal pattern is good for normal children and above normal children. But what about children who don't understand concepts fast? So as a parent listening to this and a teacher working with slow learner child, I would suggest please use analog clock. You will tell me, ma'am, it is magic. The child is able to find out the time very well. Thank you so much. See you in the next slide.